hope everyone is well. You've had a great weekend, wherever you might be. It's gotten cold here. We are, of course, mid-May now and heading towards winter here in Australia. We don't experience the harsh winter conditions that many people do overseas, but it's still cold to us and we still feel the cold. So don't let anyone tell you it doesn't get cold in Australia, because it does. It's not crazy though. We use Celsius here, and I think it got down to 6 last night, and tonight again. So the nights are pretty cool, but today was 17 degrees, and so tomorrow's meant to be 19. So the days are still beautiful. So it's lovely. Hey there, Cindy. How you going? Nice to see you. All right, I'm going to get this. Hey Helen, nice to see you as well. And Kay, hi. All the regular crew, the usual suspects. There you are. So if you are new and you haven't watched my videos before, please pop on and say hi. Let me know where you are, because I love finding out where in the world everyone might be. And we end up with people from all kinds of really interesting places. Everywhere is interesting in its own way, yeah? You might not think it's interesting because you live there, but I find it interesting where you are. So I'm going to be turning this camera around pretty quickly, and we're going to get started. And tonight I'm playing with this stamp set. Haven't played with this one yet. I mean, I've stamped, you can see how many stamps I've used. 1, there you go. So I've stamped with that, just a tiny bit, that one stamp. Hey Sharon, California, welcome. And you guys are coming into summer, right? So it'd be nice and warm where you are, hopefully. Have you had any warmer weather yet? I spoke to a couple of friends in the US this week, and it was cold still where they were. But a lot of my friends are actually in Maui right now, because the Stampin' Up! Incentive trip is on in Maui right this second. And this weekend I should have been in a different world, in a non-COVID world. I would have been leaving for Maui as well, but unfortunately our government does not permit us to fly, and right now we probably wouldn't want to anyway with the way things are. So coming from here, it's we can't travel anywhere. So we're spending our Maui trip here at home, which is not nearly as much fun, I have to tell you. And not nearly as warm. Oh, over 100. Oh, in the desert. So what? Are you near out west, Yosemite, or out near Nevada somewhere maybe? Hey Jenny, nice to see you there. Okay, let's get this camera turned around and get started. Here we go. I'm going to switch it. Give me a moment. All right. Sometimes I get the switch really good, and sometimes I'm a bit shaky. So tonight, not too bad, I think. Oh, Palm Springs. That's further down south, isn't it? Down towards, up from San Diego? Or am I wrong? Tell me if I'm wrong. All right, I'm just checking this all on my computer as well to make sure I can see myself live there, because that's important. Turning off the sound. There I go. And then I can see all your comments as I work. All right, can everyone see the desk okay? Hey Trudy, nice to meet you. Oh, you're in Walker. See, I'm actually a Northwest New South Wales girl originally, so I know very well where you are. Been there many, many times. Many years ago, I was a Rotary Exchange student when I first finished school, and we did our final interviews for that in Walker. So there you go. And we drive through Walker every time we visit. My children go to visit their dad in the holidays, and he's in Port Macquarie. So we drive from Port Macquarie quite often to Tamworth, because that's where my dad is currently living. So, so there you go. 120 miles east of Los Angeles. Okay, got it. All right. And I remember there's pictures and there's palm trees and all sorts of stuff down there, as I recall. So it's meant to be a pretty nice place. I hear good things about Palm Springs. All right, so this is the stamp set I thought we might use tonight. And as always, when I do my Sunday night videos and my Facebook videos as well, I very rarely have a fantastic idea of what I'm going to do. I kind of just start out with the pieces, and then we go from there and see where it takes us. And quite often, if I'm not sure what to do, I'll ask you guys to help me. So that's kind of become a little bit of a thing. A few people have commented and said they like that interactive thing. Oh, it's sunny in the UK, Christine. That's awesome. Alright, so first of all I'm going to do a simple card with just stamping. I just, where am I? Here's just a piece of basic white. Got to remember, it's basic white these days, not Whisper White anymore. For anyone who doesn't know, Whisper White is no longer made in the factory that made Whisper White. These days, instead, it's now called basic white. So I thought I would go with a tried and trusted combination. And I'm going to go with Misty Moonlight and Night of Navy because I love blue, and I love blue and white specifically. And I'm going to use this lovely big stamp. Let me grab. For this stamp, you actually need a decent sized block. D block is too small, so I'm going with E, and that fits quite nicely on there, plenty of space. And this is just going to be a really simple stamped card. We're not doing anything fancy in here. Alright, let's see how we go. But I want to show you how nice this stamp is. So the stamp set is called Elegantly Said, and it's in your catalogue, and it actually comes with some nice paper, which I've got here as well to show you, and a punch, which I don't have yet. I haven't got the punch, but I am planning on having those I'm planning on getting it. And the opinions have been divided about the punch. Here it is, page 69. Yeah, some people love this punch and some people don't love it. So I'll show you the punch so you can see what it looks like. It's this kind of curly shape on one end, which I actually really like, but then the other end is just round. So the punch is on page 147, so let me quickly show you what it looks like by itself. So anything you see me using today, everything you see me using is available to purchase, unless I tell you otherwise. Okay, so this is the punch. This is the one. Can you see it there? Yeah, I like to wing it. I'm a bit of a wing it person. Not when I do my classes, obviously. I have those prepared like you wouldn't believe, Jenny. But when I'm doing a video, I actually enjoy it a lot more if I just go with the flow and, like you say, like wing it. Because then I don't have to be attached to a particular outcome. And so it's a lot more relaxing for me. It's more enjoyable because I'm just, you know, just creating really, and that's much more fun to me than just regurgitating something I've already prepared in advance. So I hope that makes sense. Plus people seem to like it, so that's good too. Hey Deb, how you doing? Nice to see you there. So I don't know, what do people think of this punch? Some people, like I said, some people like it and some people don't. It's certainly got a really interesting design, and you could certainly put in a longer piece. That looks like it's 2 inches wide. I'd need to test it. I probably could test it right now, but anyway, it looks like it's 2 inches, and you could put a strip in and do one end and turn it around and do the other end if you're feeding it in from the back of the punch. But I'm interested to see, it'll make nice tags. I think it's called elegant tags, so that kind of, I guess, tells you what they want you to use it for, or what they suggest it could be used for. See, they've used a longer piece here where they've fed it in. See, it's showing you here how they feed it in the back of the punch, so you can use a longer strip and create the look. So that's a different way of doing it. Okay, so the stamp set has 11 stamps in it, and a couple of them are meant to fit on the tag shape. So they've got the tag shape here. Can you kind of see? It's in very pale pink, but the tag shape is behind that greeting there to show you how it would fit. And then of course we've got the paper. So let's have a look at that. The paper is this, and it's really interesting because it's a mixture of copper and gold and black. And I'm not sure if it's white, and there's silver too. Not sure. And there's also grey, basic grey in this. So that's kind of interesting as well. And there's both white and, I believe, vanilla. See, that's got a white base there. See how nice and shiny that is? That's lovely. We've got a black and spotted design here on the front, but this is really pretty. And then the back of that one has like a basic grey. It looks like a tiled look. That reminds me of the tiles that my dad put in our old kitchen when I was growing up. But they weren't in this colour. They were pretty yucky actually. They were green and a whole bunch of other colours that probably shouldn't go together. But yes, I don't know how I feel about those tiles. This is very pretty. So see, there's silver and gold and copper all together in this one. And for the last couple of years, metallics mixing has been a bit of a trend where you put the different colours in together. What would you use the little pattern stamp for? Look like a weird shape. Now let me see, which one do we mean? Which one? Do you mean this one here? Is that the one you mean, Cindy? Oh, the Encircled in Friendship bundle is beautiful, Jenny. That's a good choice. I like that too. And is that the one you mean, Cindy? This little funny shape there? Because I am not sure. Well, you know what? That's a challenge now. I feel like I need to find out what I'm going to use that for. Yeah, I don't know. I like this edge. This is really pretty. And actually that design with sort of like almost a little bit of a half a flower. I don't know if you can see it there. That design is also in one of these papers. So this one's got like dashes and spots. This one's got gold on grey, which is an interesting combination. I actually just like this plain diagonal pattern here. This one has gold. You can see it when you move it. And on the back, some swirly things, a bit like the big stamp. So they're really interesting papers. And I see them having a lot. So this one reminds me, this is like this one here. Can you see that design is the same as this design here? Does that make sense? I'm open to the challenge of finding out what to use that little piece for, Cindy. I'm going to do that. And then this one's a pretty... And see, that's not white. That looks more like vanilla, those leaves. And also, that's definitely on vanilla, not white. When you put the white next to it, you can see it's completely different. So, yeah. So it's both vanilla and white in this pack. Colours. Alright, so I'm going to see, I'm not sure yet if I'm using the paper, but let's see what happens. So now I'm going to use the stamp. I've inked it up in navy, and I'm going to start by stamping it right here in the corner. And I always love blue and white. It's just a favourite combination for me. I just think it's so pretty. And I'm going to ink it up again and do the other corner. And I'm actually going to change the angle of it a little bit. And then I'm going to put my Night of Navy away, and I'm going to go into my Misty Moonlight. And it's dark enough that I don't really need to clean the stamp because it's not going to cause any problems to the inkiness of this. There are some colours that you shouldn't go into with a darker colour, as for anyone who was watching me the other night, I probably showed that quite well. Now I've decided, do I really want all of this? Oh, you know what? The Misty Moonlight's not much lighter than the navy. I'm gonna, where will I put this? So I'm overlapping it a little bit. I'm actually going to stamp this one off because it's quite dark. I think maybe it's because my Night of Navy is an older ink pad and the Misty Moonlight's quite new, and they're very similar. But that's a bit better. So I like it just a little bit lighter through here. Now I've made a little bit of a mark here, and you can see I picked up some extra ink because I pressed too hard on the ink pad, and I've managed to get a little mark here and a little mark here. Guess what? We're going to put embellishments there, aren't we? Because that's what we do when we mess up our stamping. We cover it up and no one will ever know. Alright, now I am going to decide, it doesn't really matter which colour I use because they're just about the same. Just going over the corners like this, like I said, simple stamping. And what I discovered when I did a card the other day was I messed up. I put my stamp on and it was meant to be perfect, and of course it wasn't. It was slightly crooked and I was really cross with myself, but that's when you bring your punches out and punch a sentiment to go straight over the top. Which one shall we use? I like the size of this True Love Stories Last Forever, but I'm not sure how true that statement is. Wishing you a wonderful birthday, happy anniversary. All the things you do are simply amazing. That's nice. Life has changed for you, but my love and support never will. That's actually really pretty. And thank you and for you. Which sentiment shall we use? Did you say you started researching kittens? Huh. It does look like a butterfly. You probably could make a bit of a whimsical butterfly out of it. Interesting. Hey Michelle, how are you going? Nice to see you, Cherie. Seagulls have left comments. Thank you so much. Anyway, I'm going to continue, and I'm thinking I might go with the Wishing You a Wonderful Birthday. And that one is, sometimes they're hard to see when you first pull them out. It's this one. Alright, so I'm going to put these stamps together on the video, and a few of you have seen me do this a couple of times now, but I'm going to do it again because every single time I do it, somebody hasn't seen it, and then somebody goes, oh wow, I didn't know that. Alright, so I've pulled this rubber piece off. It's got a backing piece on it. Take that off and just drop it down on your page. And then in here, oh no, where have I put my, well, that's not very good, is it? I think I may have dropped it on the floor. Okay, we're going to wing this as well, which is not what I like to do, but I'm going to put this down. And here's something: if ever you haven't got if you haven't got a label on the back of your stamps to show you where everything is, line your block up on your grid paper. So this is a different way to do it again. All right, and then I'm going to line up my stamp, also using the grid paper because I can see the stripes through the block, right? So I'm going to do that, and now that should be precisely on my block as it should be. I'm going to ink up my, I'm having one of those nights. Ink up the wrong side of the block. Oh dear, you girls, you must be thinking, what is she doing? Now, making sure I've got it the right way up is the only very important thing. And if this isn't straight, or if I'm not happy with this, that's when the punch is going to come out, and I'm going to punch it over the top. Oh, actually, it's pretty good. Now, if I wasn't happy with that, I could bring in a punch. All right, this punch I thought would go quite nicely with this. This is the what's it called? Everyday label punch. This one. This has been around for a long, long time. This punch, and I always have used it and found it really, really handy. So if I wanted to, I could put it on here and pop that up. And that would look nice. So this is pretty simple, what we're doing. Very, very basic, actually. I'm going to try again with that. And then we'll decide whether we want to have it on a punch or whether we rather have it just as it is. Oh, crooked. Which way did I go crooked? Okay. Yep, there we go. This is what happens when you haven't got the labels on the back of your stamps. That's good. Alright. So this would go on here if I wanted it to. And I could pop that up on dimensionals and the edge around it, and that would look really nice. But I'm just going to leave this like this for now. And because I can, I'm going to throw a couple of bits of bling on my bits that I'm not happy with. And no one will ever know, because that's what we do. Right, just like that. I'm going to use a bit of seal on the back here to attach this. Whoop. Ideally, you should put your embellishments on after you stick it down, so you haven't got to worry about that on the back. And this piece is cut to size, so it fits inside my Night of Navy piece here. Simple, simple, simple. Okay, we could add ribbon if we wanted to. We could just leave it like this if we wanted to. And there we go. One simple card. Dropped everything? Oh yeah. I have days like that. But I haven't got an excuse. I did just drive home. I have to go in once a month. My son goes up and has a weekend with his father, and I had to go up there this tonight. And I've only just, like, I literally got home 10 minutes before I started this video, so it's cutting it pretty fine. But I only have to do it once a month, thank goodness. And so I've been. It's an hour up there and an hour back, roughly. It's not too bad. But I really don't have an excuse tonight, because I think last night I had the best night's sleep I've had for a really, really long time. The cats didn't even wake me up until nearly 8 o'clock this morning, and they usually go off at 7. I have a cat that thinks he needs to be fed at 7 o'clock on the dot every day, morning and night. Yeah, simple enough, right? Just a simple little card that we're just going to call that done. Nice little birthday card. All right. So that, shall we do a bit more playing? Alright, I've got another piece here, and I think this one's going to fit inside here as well. Or no, this one needs to be cut to size. Actually, I think I purposely left it this size because I wasn't thinking, yeah, I think this is the right size. So 10 centimeters wide by 14.3. That is the right size. And that would go straight onto a card base at this side. Right, I'm just going to clean my big stamp that I just used. This is my favourite stamp in the set, can you tell? I mean, there's some really nice stamps in the set, but I think this one is the standout stamp. Clean. Which reminds me, it's high time I went and cleaned out my Stampin' Scrub. Does everyone know that you can actually clean your Stampin' Scrub under running water? And there we go. Alright, so I'm actually going to use Versamark and we're going to do a bit of Emboss Resist with this. So it's the same card. Same card, but just well, similar anyway. I might go portrait this time to make it a little bit different. What do you think? Shall we? Oh, Wendy, never worry about being late. Sometimes the only person who really needs to worry about being late is me. You know, I'm supposed to be here at 7:30, but that doesn't always happen. Sometimes I'm running late myself. All right, I'm going to go portrait. What do we think? Are we happy with that? Oh, just the one cat. Oh, just one cat. Oh, did you lose a cat, Cindy? We get so attached to these little creatures, don't we? We really do. Now, this is Versamark, and Versamark is clear, so it's not going to look like much is going on here, but it's the point about Versamark, it's not so much that it's clear, it's not the colour that we're interested in, it's the fact that it's sticky, okay, and we want our embossing powder to stick to that. So I'm just going to make this go a little bit further. Okay. Right, so I'm just going to have that coming up from the bottom here. Now, I could use clear or I could use white. It really doesn't make any difference. White will obviously be a little bit whiter, but the clear is going to work fine because I'm using white paper. So you're going to end up seeing white anyway. So let's pour that over. I think everyone's probably seen the embossed resist technique before. It's actually one of my favourite techniques. I think it looks so pretty, and this to me seems like the perfect stamp, or the perfect stamp set to do this with. I'm actually going to do a little bit more at the other side just for a bit of balance, and let's do the same thing here, but I'm going to, I don't want too much showing at the top. There's going to be more at the bottom. And I might add a little tiny bit more here. There we go. Alright, so I've already put the powder on this end. Now I'm going to put it back in the... I find having a little container really handy. And if you want to, you could just pour it straight on like this, but you still want to have it in a container to tap it off into so that you don't waste it. Because, you know, you don't want to do that. You want these things to last you. The thing is, embossing powder you don't use very much at a time because it's only what sticks to the... Just going to go one more time. It's only what sticks to the stamped image where you put the Versamark. Right. I did get a bit of powder here on the thing, so I'm just going to wipe that off. Alright. And then I've got the rest of this. I'm just going to pour that back in. Makes it nice and easy having little containers. To be honest, you could go with a container a little bit bigger than that. I've seen people use like a Chinese takeaway container. That's quite good for it. Hey Bronwyn, nice to see you. How's everything in Adelaide? Is it good? Oh, cool. You're going to go to one of Shani's classes. Ah, yes. I'm excited to use the new pastels. Very excited. All right. So I also have in my little collection here a brush. And I always keep that handy. So when I'm embossing, if there's any powder that sticks, even after I've, you know, give it a bit of a flick over the other side, if there's any powder that sticks anywhere, I want to make sure I get all that off. Alright, so now we've got our powder. I'm just going to close up my Versamark, pop that out of the way. that down. And this is the bit where we get to bring in our heat tool. Okay, now a heat tool is one of those things, you don't have to have a heat tool to get an embossed result. I've seen people use the toaster, but I can tell you it's a whole lot less mucking around using a heat tool. And the Stampin'Up heat tool is actually a pretty good one. It's got a few features that I really like. It's got this piece of plastic here at the end so that you are less likely to burn yourself on the metal end, because that metal end gets super, super hot. Okay, and you really don't want to burn yourself on that. I saw a friend of mine actually gave herself really nasty burns on her arm from a heat tool, and I do not want you guys doing that. It's also well priced. Okay, so this is $50. This one, I haven't double checked in the new catalogue to make sure the price didn't change, but it was $50 in the last catalogue, so I don't know if anyone happens to know that off the top of their heads. The other thing I like about it is it's got 2 speeds, so you've got your low heat and your higher heat. Some people have asked me, could I use a hairdryer? The problem with a hairdryer is it's much higher. The speed of the wind coming out of that thing is much higher, and you may blow your powder away, which won't work well for you. And what about a paint stripper? Paint stripper is probably too hot and is likely to burn your paper if you use it more than a few seconds. So that's why a heat tool is a really good investment. Okay, so I'm going to pick this up very carefully, and I'm going to heat it. It's going to make a little bit of a noise, but don't worry, I'm doing this on the higher setting because your embossing powder has no problems handling the higher heat setting. And this doesn't take very long. It's probably not very exciting video though, is it? But hopefully we can see when it starts to change. It's harder to see with clear. It's easier to see with metallic when it starts to change. But I can see it starting to change now, and I hope you can see it's going shiny. Can anyone see that? It's a bit hard to see. Christine, maybe you could turn your cat walking on your cardstock into, think of it as a really exotic cat paw stamp. Get him to maybe walk in some ink and walk across your paper. Or not. Yep, still $50. Thank you very much, Michelle. So as we're doing this, I'm seeing it turn. Can you see it's getting shiny? Can you see that? And the cool thing about this is that it doesn't take long, and once it's once it's turned, once it goes hard and shiny, you can touch it straight away. It doesn't stay hot. I'm just going to give the whole thing a last little blast in case I've missed any. Okay, there we go. The other thing is, when you're finished with your heat tool, it's got a little stand. You put your stand up and leave it somewhere safe, because if you put it flat, heat can get trapped inside the barrel of the tool and actually destroy that over time. Whereas if you have it so it's on a slight angle, so heat rises, of course, and is more likely to escape out the end and won't stay inside your gun. So there's just a couple of little things to know about heat tools. Okay, so you can see it's curled the paper a tiny bit. I'm not worried about it because I'll be gluing it down, but I noticed I've got a little bit of a mark there. Here's something that I like to do. Let me just quickly see if it's handy. Here it is. We used to sell these. Anyone remember these? Adhesive removers. And if you have a little dot of adhesive or something on your paper, I think you can probably still get these in, maybe some of your craft stores. But if anyone still has one hanging around, pull it out, because it's great for getting rid of little tiny marks left behind by adhesive. See, got rid of that totally. That's great. All right, so just double checking that I've got all of this. It looks pretty good. There we go, it's all done. So I'm going to go, like I said, I'm going to go portrait today. Get rid of any powder left over. Oh, that's a bit sad, Cherie. Ah, yes, I understand. All right. You know, that's a great idea, Jenny. Isn't that fantastic? So your cat walked across your white cardstock and you made a sympathy card for a cat that passed away. That's actually a really lovely idea. Huh. Wow. Yeah, that's a bit sad, Cherie. A bit worried about that. Hi, Sabine. How are you going? Is it Sabine or Sabina? I'm not quite sure, but hi from Austria. Hello from Australia to Austria. Every now and then someone thinks that I come from Austria, but I don't, I promise. All right, so I've got my trusty, faithful blending brushes here tonight. And the one I want, I've got a few of them. As you can see, I've got lots and lots of different blending brushes, but I want this one because it's blue, because I'm going with the blue and white theme tonight. And let's have a little look here. This is our Misty Moonlight. I'm actually thinking I might bring in a third blue, and I think that should be Balmy Blue, because this is it doesn't have any green in it, you know, it's just a blue, so that will go nicely with these. I'm going to start with the Balmy Blue. Does anyone not use these blending brushes? Seriously, do yourself a favour and get them. They are so good. They come in a pack of 3. Here in Australia they're $21, and they make such a difference to your cards. I love them. I use them for backgrounds, I use them all over the place, and really good for this. Okay, so we've got our embossed image here. I'm going to start in the corner and I'm going to start to build up a bit of colour. I go round and round in circles, and I'm going to cover this whole thing. Keep going. They're just so nice to use, and they feel good too. I put a bit of pressure on the back of the head of the brush as I'm working. I know, Cindy, I love them too. Totally, completely sold on them. I had to have a little sad pity party a bit when they got rid of the sponge sprayers, but these are helping make my heart happy again. I was rather a sponge sprayer lover, but I can do nearly everything that I could do with the sponge sprayers I can do with these. Not quite, but nearly. And I can do some things that I couldn't do with the sponge sprayers. So hey, I guess it all works out. All right, so I'm going just a little bit beyond where my design is. Can you see that? And then the secret of getting a really great result is we need to get ourselves a cloth. And I'm thinking, have I got one? I've got wet wipes, but I don't really want to use those. I'll dig up a tissue in a second, and then we'll give this whole thing a polish, and you'll see the design really jump out. All right, so I'm going to do the other side as well. I just love them. My favorite new tool, these. Although, you know, I'm a big fan of a lot of different types of tools. I think, for anyone who wonders, the difference between making cards that look really professional and not so great is the quality of your tools. I really think this is true. So if you have really great tools for doing various things, you are always going to get good professional results. So, you know, good punches, good dies, a good machine, die cutting machine, good brushes, a good trimmer, all those sorts of things. Okay, so that's how this is looking at the moment. All right, I do like it. Just that light color all by itself looks really nice, doesn't it? Yes, I keep buying more, Jenny. I can't stop myself. It's a bit sad. All right, I'm going to go up to a dark color. I'm going to put some darker color over this, but I'm not going to go as far out. So I'm going to leave the lighter blue, the balmy blue, closer on the edges here, and this time I'm going to go in with my Misty Moonlight, and I'm going to not go out as far. So I'll just do one side so we can see the difference. And you've got to make sure you have some good scrap paper underneath, because your table surface is going to get quite dirtied up using these. That's looking really, really nice. The colour's coming in very deep now. Alright, let me grab, here we go. This is a wet one that's dried out, so that'll do, won't it? So let's colour over it, polish over this, and I'll show you how this looks different. So basically you need to do this when you've been using blending brushes over an embossed image, because see how the design's really coming out now? Because some ink remains on top of the embossing. So this is to get rid of that and make your embossed image stand out. Right, so that's coming up really, really pretty. I'm going to do the same thing over this side. These colours look really nice together, don't they? So this is Balmy Blue, Misty Moonlight, and I am actually still going to add a little bit of Night of Navy in the very corner. I'm just sticking with this colour now, for now, because I'll use the same brush. Alright, let's polish that up so you can see. Alright, looking really nice. Very pretty. Right, let's see. I think I'll get a slightly darker look with the with the Night of Navy. So let's give that a shot. It won't make a massive difference, but just a bit there in the corner. It is definitely darker. And polish. There we go. That's really nice. When you say solid brayer, do you mean like the old rubber brayers, Christine? Is that what you mean? Okay. I'm really happy with how that's looking. That's really, really pretty. I can't believe I misplaced. Well, I haven't misplaced. I know it's here, but I can't believe that I forgot all. Oh, guess what I just found on the floor? Ta-da! Here's the sheet. I found it. Ah, dear. All right. I'm really happy with how this is looking. I think this is really, really pretty. And I'm tempted to put that. I was going to put the whole thing on a Misty Moonlight base, but I'm thinking maybe Balmy Blue. Let me just have a look at the Balmy Blue and see how that's going to look. Yeah, I'm going to go Balmy Blue. So I'm going to cut this to size. Yeah, it does, Cindy. I hadn't thought of that. Huh, that was interesting. Your comment got held for review, Cindy. That's interesting. Haven't seen that before. Huh. So I'm just looking at everyone's comments. I love that you all talk to each other. It's so nice. Yeah, spina bifida is a yucky thing. I'm sorry, Jenny, I didn't know that. That sounds like an unpleasant thing to have happen, doing that. Alright, so we've got this piece here. And I want the bigger piece down the bottom. So I'm actually going to go ahead and put this on straight away. And then I can decide what I want to do with my sentiment in the middle. And now that I've got my labels, I'll be able to get them straight. So remember I said to you before that I know some of you have seen me put the stamps together before. My apologies to all of you who've seen it before, but I'm hoping that the 1 or 2 people out there who've never seen it, it's going to be helpful to you. Okay, so let's see if there's someone out there who hasn't seen it. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? I like the two-tone look. It's really nice. Oh look, I've got a bit of adhesive here. Roll that off and get my adhesive remover in again, because I don't want that mark there. There we go.